President Trump is getting the silent treatment.
I've never walked into a room so silent before.
The nation's top military brass stood at attention. No applause, no cheers, in fact, no reaction whatsoever.
Move out and draw fire, because we are the War Department. Godspeed.
No! Attention!
It's so quiet.
This photo is going viral on social media, and this is of our military generals and admirals listening to Trump ramble on for hours. But it's the reaction of this one here that has this photo going viral.
So one thing with Obama, I had zero respect for him as a president, but he would bop down those stairs. I've never said, da-da-da-da-da-da, pop, pop, pop. He'd go down the stairs, wouldn't hold on.
Make no mistake, the reaction by 99% of our generals and admirals today was a form of protest.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane.
All right, generals.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Please take your seats. We've heard from me. So now Donald J. Trump.
So you guys saw that video of the silence that he met, okay, when Pete Hegseth, introduced Trump into the rooms filled up with generals, okay. The silence, even him couldn't hold himself. He had to say that this is the first time he's walking into a very silent room, okay, and that's to show, okay, exactly what is happening. A lot of people are actually not excited about what is happening, and yeah, he actually is trying to use every means to make people stay silent about so many things and all that. Well, let's take a look at some of the clips I've gathered for you guys, then I'll come back with the commentary. So guys, you're welcome back again to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking when you saw this video. So let's go ahead, watch some of these clips, then I'll come back with the commentary. Do let me know what you all think in the comment section, and credit to all creators on this video. Let's go watch.
This photo is going viral on social media, and this is of our military generals and admirals listening to Trump ramble on for hours. But it's the reaction of this one here that has this photo going viral. And it's going viral because this conveys the feeling of pretty much all Americans in this country in response to what Trump had said. No one cheered, only looks of concern. Our military is an apolitical organization, and our generals were so well trained, they really remained composed like this a majority of the time, which had to be very difficult to do considering Trump said war is now a big part of our cities, and that he wants to send the military in to our cities to end the war zones he claims they are in, which, if you're on the ground in any of these, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, Portland, they're certainly not war zones. But these people in these photos in this room are our last line of defense against a fascist authoritarian takeover. So everyone, make your voices heard. Let them know they need to uphold their oath. Comment if you agree. Let them know.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane.
All right, generals.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Please take your seats. We've heard from me. So now Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much, Pete. Great job you're doing, too. Fantastic job. I've never walked into a room so silent before. This America, God bless you all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
They clapped. They all applauded for the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They were all silent for Pete Hegseth. And at the end of Donald Trump's speech, I counted 4 generals that were clapping for him out of an estimated 800 or so. And my very first thought was, those are probably 1-stars that are hoping Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth will fire some disloyal 2- to 4-star generals so that they can get an instant promotion. Because as my friends that are in the service active duty and my veteran friends would say, there's always at least one rat fuck. So I do want to put out a message of hope. This, to me, said a big resounding protest. And that if the fateful day happens where Donald Trump and Pete Kegsbreth do issue the ultimate of unlawful orders, as I have said on numerous times, our military will split. And that will be the beginning of the end of this fascist regime. Constitutionalists versus loyalists. And I know MAGA media saturates the market saying that every single service member, every single veteran is MAGA and proud. I contest that, and I say that's paid propaganda bullshit. The majority of our military personnel, be it enlisted or officers, easily 70% of them, are actual oath keepers. No fear, eyes up, stronger together, together stronger. Always.
So let me make sure I understand this correctly. A major in the National Guard and a 5-time draft dodger are telling generals of our military, 4 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 star, vice admirals of our military, that they need to improve. A draft dodger and a drunk told all of the top senior brass in the United States military that we need to be real war fighters. In that room, just in that room, was more accumulated military knowledge than exists on the planet Earth. And a drunk and a draft dodger basically told them, you got to be more lethal. The guy that they all came there to hear from, their boss, dodged the draft 5 goddamn times. The man who is the head of their department, defense, war, whatever you want to call it, was a major in the National Guard and a Fox News host who cannot stop his drinking. He had the nerve to talk about fat generals. Are you serious right now? Are you absolutely serious right now? MAGA thinks this is fantastic. I'm looking at this like you can't make this up. A drunk and a draft dodger is telling the generals and admirals of our most expensive, most lethal fucking fighting force on the face of the earth that they need to get better. The draft dodger wants to use the accumulated knowledge of the men and women in that room on their civilian friends and family, because his dictator boner has now got up to half staff. An entire room full of generals and admirals were lectured by a major who acts like a frat boy and a draft dodger who's twice the size of any one of them motherfuckers in uniform. Pete Hegseth had the nerve to talk about fat generals, and then Donald Trump rolled his orange roly-poly ass the fuck out there. Again, a room filled with more accumulated military knowledge than exists anywhere on the face of the earth are being lectured by John Belushi's character in Animal House, who's now the Secretary of War, and a trust fund baby whose feet hurt, so that's why he couldn't go to Vietnam. This is Make America Great. This right here. The two of them together couldn't even muster up half of a soldier. Them two men could not even lace the boots of any man or woman in that room. But they got to get lectured on lethality. We're going to go back to lethality. Pete Hegseth's a drunk. And Donald Trump is orangutan circumcision parts. And y'all are talking to them? To them. It's one thing to be a tough guy. It's another thing to act like one. Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump, actors. The generals and admirals sitting on that guy inside that room, I know damn well they talk bad about their ass on the way home. I know they did. They went to their aides or their XOs or whatever, and they were like, there's no way I stayed here for this. I got dressed up in this class uniform, Class A uniform for this. to be lectured by a drunk and a draft dodging fat ass. Some of them fat generals can do a pull up, Pete. Give them a 45-pound ruck. They can ruck 12 miles. Some of them fat admirals, Pete, they know how to steer aircraft carriers. I am shocked. I am fucking shocked. That's got to be the most idiotic phrasing I've ever had to say. A room full of generals and admirals, more accumulated military knowledge than any place on the face of the goddamn earth. And they're being told how to do their goddamn jobs by a drunk major former Fox News host who acts like a frat boy and a 5-time draft dodging, bone spur having, fat ass, Big Mac eating motherfucking president of the United States. And MAGA don't see a problem with this. You can't make this shit up.
Trump is so desperate to use the U.S. military domestically. Because listen, today when he gave that speech to those military commanders, he said a few key things that he said before, but imagine the audience. So he tells them that they are responsible for fighting enemies, both foreign and domestic. And he emphasized domestic, and that led to him talking about the cities in America that are at war. The wars in American cities, and he named all his favorite blue cities, right? Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, San Francisco, Portland. And I'm sure if he could have thought of more, he would have mentioned more. Now, I've always said that one of his greatest regrets from his first term was that he did not get to use the military like a toy, like he wants to do. And I don't mean drones. I mean he wants to use aircraft carriers, bombers, submarines, bombing runs, boots on the ground, tanks, the whole deal. That's what he wants. And he didn't get that. And so now he has the generals listening to him tell him that they're responsible for fighting the enemy within. The enemy within is in these blue cities. And I said on the video earlier today, if you have family members that are in the military, it is about time to start checking on them and see who they are whose orders they're going to follow, his, or honor their oath to the Constitution. Maybe one of their commanders who tell them you're not going to attack American citizens. But he said that to them. And now when you think about, he's not happy that ICE hasn't taken out as many people as he wanted. Because remember, he and his ear whisperer, worm tongue, Stephen Miller, they want millions out. Trump used to say he wanted 10 or 15 million out, and now he's talking 30 million. And he doesn't believe ICE is doing the job fast enough, and importantly, equally importantly, he doesn't believe they're doing the job brutally enough. And so now he thinks, you know what? I'm going to use the military because they got more equipment, it's more of them, they're better trained, and they will do what I tell them because, like he and Keg's Breath said today, if you don't like what we're saying, walk out the room. And you'll be fired, and you lose your rank, your history, everything. And they all sat there. And in Trump's mind, that means they agree with what he says, and they're going to do what he tells them to do. And I believe ahead of the midterms, so sometime between now and 2026 midterms, blue cities, the ones he listed, and others, he's going to send much more military troops into the cities to disrupt voting and to give him the boots on the ground war that he has been longing to do since even before his first time. So the draft dodger wants to attack America. So let me know what you think. Hit me up in the comments and let's talk about it.
So I have a new episode of We Told You So to go out today about the government shutdown and everything, but this has to be talked about first. That ridiculous fucking military meeting that Pete Hegseth and Trump had in front of hundreds of military brass was embarrassing. These people are seasoned combat veterans. These are people who have been serving for a long time. These are people who know the ins and outs of the military, and they were greeted to dumb bullshit like this.
Should our enemies choose foolishly to challenge us, they will be crushed by the violence, precision, and ferocity of the War Department. In other words, to our enemies, F-A-F-O.
Again, fucking embarrassing. There's a reason why throughout that entire meeting, the generals stayed entirely silent, and Trump had to beg them to applaud, very Jeb Bush-like. Because Hegseth just went on and on about fat people in the military, and after Trump came out there to back up what Hegseth said, Gavin Newsom didn't miss a beat going on Twitter and saying, oh, guess the commander-in-chief's gotta go. So the military brass had to sit there and embarrassingly listen to a Fox News pundit try and tell them all about alpha male culture. So if that wasn't bad enough, then Trump got up there and just basically had a brain meltdown.
A submarine or two, I won't say about the two, over to the coast of Russia, just to be careful, because we can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N-word. There are two N-words, and you can't use either of them. Can't use either of them.
And that's when he wasn't complaining about Sleepy Joe or his own landslide victory that he didn't have. To sum it up, The Atlantic put it perfectly. The commander-in-chief is not okay. Because like I said, Trump rambled on for over an hour to dead silence even after begging for them to applaud for him, which most likely left a lot of these seasoned generals leaving the auditorium thinking, what the hell is wrong with the commander-in-chief? He tried making it sound like a campaign rally full of his old grievances and bullshit, which the top military generals do not give a shit about. Because this was just supposed to be a disgusting pep talk trying to get the military on Trump's side as he uses the military against his own citizens. And it failed miserably. Because this was just the military version of that UN meeting, which led a diplomat to message somebody from the Washington Post and say, this man is stark raving mad. Do Americans not see how embarrassing this is? The sad thing is that yes, most of us do.
So a lot of people actually reacted to this, everything that happened, and so many people also talking about how the generals were silent and the reason why every one of them maintained the silence. Well, let's take a look at the comment section of some of these videos, then we'll come back. Okay, someone said, I served in the Navy. The crowd was silent because they are wise, educated, disciplined, and all have war experience. They know what a spade looks like when they see one. Have faith in our armed forces. Every leader in the military has earned that position and has proven that they can lead others upholding the Constitution. Their silence is all that is needed to know. Sound like he's declared war on American citizens. I will never forgive the people that voted for him or stayed home. So a lot of people actually voted for this, right? A lot of people voted for him. Oh, he's going to make America great again. He's going to, change the economy. He's going to make the economy better. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Lot of them have so many things to say. Then you have people who came online to tell us, okay, that the reason why they voted is because he's going to make peace and all of that. And yes, you also have people who stayed home, who never came out, okay, to vote anytime throughout the election period. So a lot of people are saying that they cannot forgive those people who voted for him and those people who decided to stay home on that day because their votes would have also counted, okay, no matter who they felt was going to lose. And some people actually voted for a third party as well. And now the votes were just scattered, okay? And that's why you have a lot of people saying this. Well, another person said Kamala tried to tell everyone, like she was literally telling everyone what was going to happen. It seems like it was a prophecy of what was going to happen in the future. She was telling everybody, you got to be careful of who you chose as your president because this is exactly what you're going to get. She was making that, that speech during the campaign trail, okay? I will never forgive these people, okay, that voted for him. We are underreacting, okay? I saw something like this before. It was hard to understand because the video and grainy and degraded and it's in German. I want to hear what the generals think about this. Okay, his entire administration needs to be removed from the office according to this commenter. So basically the US president declared, war on the US citizens. Are you great yet? Are people really great now? Because all they voted for was MAGA, right? Are they not great, right? I spent 10 years active duty and I'm devastated. I am depressed. How is this even happening? Okay, as a military spouse of 17 years, I know this went over like lead balloon. Okay, the fact they didn't all get up and walk out in unison worries me. Okay, that's what this person said. So someone said, service members, remember your oath. The world stands behind you. Meanwhile, they could have went ahead and locked him up on site for treason, right? Another person said, I feel like I spend every single day just trying to not completely crash out. The military can say no, like they can actually refuse to follow unjust orders if they do not align with the Constitution, which is what they swore an oath to defend. Okay, Trump thinks they are his personal guard dogs and they are not. Young men and women are joining the military at an alarming rate because there is too much competition for these underpaying, unlivable wage jobs. No one can afford to be in debt attending college or trade school. It's a desperate move to secure a potential future with benefit, not because he is president. So I have been on my platform explaining to people he's been soft, launching a police state, and he's moving past authoritarianism, strictly now focus on totalism. Okay, I hate being right. He couldn't figure out what to do when the escalator stopped. Thank you for doing the verbal clips, okay? He has declared war on anyone who disagree with him. That's why Biden said, remember your oath. I pray the military defends the Constitution. So someone said he declared war on us being the radical left. He threatened generals in front of the world, give ICE the green light to beat down anyone, and he declared war on anyone who doesn't follow him. Let that sink in. Okay, so a vet is saying, vet here, it was disheartening to say the least. I am really hoping some of these leaders have some hard conversation behind closed doors. To whoever is active, remember why you signed up, sending love and strength. He really is fascinated on the Nobel Peace Prize which Obama was awarded. Wouldn't it put him through the roof if Biden received it? So just think he still has 3 more years as president left. If he has done all this destruction in a year, what will 3 more years look like? I'm terrified. So someone said, I really hope the military leadership remembers their loyalty is to the Constitution. He is senile. I am not a conspiracy theorist, but I have a feeling a lot of the bad things we are seeing are coming from the people behind him, who are now using him as their own, level of power. I thought the silence was because active duty members aren't allowed to voice political leanings. They are really preparing to use the military against us. The next 6 months to a year is gonna be wide. Okay, so someone said, thankfully they seemed really uncomfortable. The military may be forced to choose a side, us or him. Don't forget the part where Kegsbreth said, if you don't have the heart to betray the Constitution, resign. Oh really? He said that? Okay. Also, remember when Trump first took office, he fired several top generals, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Okay, they also fired the only 2 women serving as 4-star officers, as well as a disappropriate number of other senior female officers. The Hegseth also was in charge of getting rid of 20% of the National Guard top officers. Hegseth said the elimination were a reflection of the president wanting the right people around him to execute the national security approach we want to take. Trump was and is creating a framework to fire anyone who does not align with him. I just hope the people in that room that remain are not just there to do the bidding of Trump. Honestly, the fact that they had to put on a public show like this should immediately tell you how confident they are that the military will obey orders. Anyway guys, these are people's reaction and their thoughts in the comment sections, right? I would love to hear your own take in the comment section as well, so go ahead and share with me in the comment, and please do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up as well so that more people can see it. I look forward to seeing you all on my next video. Thank you so much guys for watching. See you all next time. Bye guys.